Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. For today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys some of my favorite altcoins that I'm very confident are going to provide some exceptional profits to close out the end of the year. We're going to go through, I'm going to give you guys 1 out of every 8 on the list, and we're going to break them down and explain exactly why I believe that these are good investments, why they're going to be taking off very soon, and how we can all go about making a ton of profit in the process. You guys already know that as we're preparing for the end of the year, there's going to be so much new money flooding into these altcoins, and knowing which ones are going to get the biggest moves are going to be the ones that we want to invest in. I'm going to give you guys some of my top picks so that we can all stay profitable together, because I'm super confident in these ones moving forward to close out the end of the year. If you're new and just find this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Always remember to click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos like the one provided for you here. And make sure you guys sign up and join the Discord server of over 21,000 members and growing. Links are going to be provided for you in the description for the people that want to join my community. On top of that, if you're new, just getting into these markets and you want extra educational content on how to be more profitable inside the market, links are going to be provided for you in the description to go ahead and download my free ebook and beginner's guide to crypto. So check it out. Links are provided for you in the description. And with all that being said, guys, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, we're not even going to hesitate in today's video. I'm not going to cover Bitcoin, not going to cover Ethereum, total market cap, any of that stuff. We're going to get right into the nitty gritty of the video and talk about my favorite altcoins. Now, keep in mind guys that I have so many different investments into the altcoin market. I have so many different ones that, I never talk about on the channel that have done really well. But I wanted to give you guys this little update as some of the ones that I think are a little bit safer picks. And if there isn't a safe pick on this list, I'll make sure to let you guys know which one it is. But these are going to be cryptos that have partnerships. They are tapping into a market that is really high demand. There's a lot of people investing into it. And so that's what gives me a lot more confidence that these are going to be the ones that do good. And so I wanted to make sure that you guys knew exactly which ones I actually think are going to be some solid picks. Now, the first one on the list today, and keep in mind, guys, that there's not really some perfect order. I don't have these perfectly ordered from greatest to worst or anything like that. I think that these are all reasonable altcoins. And so we're just going to go through the list 1 through 8. And the first one on today's list is going to be Curate. Now, Curate is a way for these NFT artists to actually curate their own NFT works, right? It's just a way to basically make NFTs. And that's why I think that this one is going to do really well in this year. We're seeing so much hype around NFTs. I don't think NFTs are dead yet. We are in somewhat of a little bear market with NFTs, but I believe that as the rest of the market takes off, we're going to see another major rally inside of NFTs, actually bigger than the one that we just saw earlier this year. And so one of those that I do think is going to do really well from that is Curate, because it does give these content creators, these NFT creators, the ability to actually mint and create their own NFTs. And so because of that, I think that that's a really good opportunity for a crypto for 2021. If the rest of the NFT market's going crazy, obviously this one's going to do well as a whole. Now, the thing I like about this chart, let's break it to a log scale. I love this chart because it's simply just a one-wave impulse. We've only ever had 3 impulse waves, right? So this entire move is simply just wave 1. And now we're getting ready for wave 3. Now, when it comes to drawing Elliott waves on a log scale chart, we don't know how high this is going to go, right? What I can say is if we pull up our trend-based fib, we go from the low to the high back down to this midpoint, we have to go to at least the 1618, which is going to be $17.50. Chances are it goes to at least the 2618, which is going to be $27. But that's the thing, guys, is that doesn't look very crazy when you zoom it out here. We'd have to go to at least the 1618. Chances are we'd go to the 2618. And so, I mean, that's a pretty big rise, but I actually think but in my opinion, I think we'll extend past these fib targets. And that's the fun thing about buying before a 3-wave takes place, is because in the 3-wave, it can go so parabolic, it can go and dwarf all of the Fibonacci targets, and that happens quite often. And so what I always say, the best thing to do is just find a 1-wave, find the 1-wave after it either bottoms or it is in the bottom, and then just look to hold that into wave 3, because we don't know exactly how parabolic wave 3 is going to get. My guess is it's going to get very parabolic with all of the hype around NFTs. And so this is one that I'm actually watching for. What we can see here is after our first 3 impulse waves up, we got an ABC correction back down. And then from the bottom of that C leg, we actually got another miniature 1-wave right here. So we've already finished our subwave of wave 3. Now, in my opinion, the next move is going to be taking us to all-time highs or a break of those all-time highs. And then that's where we're going to be starting the next move into price discovery. I don't think price discovery is going to wait around long because of the fact this is still just a one wave and it's a pretty fairly small market cap. So Curate is one on the list. I think it's going to do really well with the NFT hype. Good volume. Price chart looks phenomenally well. It looks like a very early cycle that's about to take off. So be watching out for this one. Now, next up on the list today is going to be Alliance Block. You guys already know I've been covering Alliance Block on this channel for a long period of time. I first bought this way back last year at 8 cents, so approximately here. I got a really, really low entry price. Wish I would have bought more, but, you know, you take what you get and you're happy with that. And so I've actually continued to dollar cost average throughout this period of time. I added to my investment at 23 cents. And so my bags are packed, but what I can say is for the people that haven't actually got the chance to get in really early, they didn't buy each year, they didn't get in at the lows, I'll say that it's still undervalued, and that's why I'm actually sharing it with you guys today. Where we're at today, if we look at this chart, what we just did is we had our first impulse that actually took us past the all-time highs, right? We had a one wave, we had a three wave, and then we had wave 5. And so this wave 5 actually took us beyond the all-time highs. We made a new all-time high. And then this most recent correction was us falling onto support of the previous all-time high. We're not right above the previous all-time high. We're kind of in the midway of that consolidation, but this is still just a support and resistance flip on the higher time frames. If we dropped it to a weekly, you guys can kind of see what I mean. You know, this is just a higher time frame support and resistance flip before we go into even more price discovery. And what I can say here, I love this chart because this itself is wave 1. And then this itself is wave 1 of 3. And look at how much volume is already coming in wave 1 of 3. This means that we're getting ready for wave 3 of 3, which I expect to get very parabolic. I mean, I've seen the way that these wave 3s actually play out, and this is wave 3 of 3, right? So every impulse, we have 3 impulse waves. This was wave 1, this was wave 3, this was wave 5, right? So we get 3 impulse waves in every single wave, and this was only wave 1. Then we see the same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC. This means this entire move from, 17 cents all the way up to about $1.35 and back down, this is wave 1 of 3. We're going to get wave 3 of 3, then we're going to get wave 5 of 3. And then that's only going to be the top of wave 3. We'll still have one more final 5 waves still to go. So this is one that's still really undervalued. This is actually one of my favorite long-term holds. Even though I'm going to be selling it and getting out at the end of the year, I think that this is going to be one that actually does better in the next cycle. And so this is going to be one of those picks that I actually invest in at the bottom of the next bear market. But I still think that this one's going to be taking off throughout the rest of this year. It's a strong fundamental project. When these projects get a lot of attention, which these guys have some of the greatest minds inside of the everyday world that have worked for major multi-billion-dollar corporations. They've worked for governments. They've worked for banks. All of this type of stuff. They have those type of people leading the charge for Alliance Block. So from a fundamental perspective, this is one of the strongest cryptos out there, in my opinion. And we're going to start to see it actually start to take off for the first time. And so this is one that even though we're up a little bit higher from my initial entries, it's still a fairly low market cap. I still think this one's going to do really well. So I think you guys should be watching out for this one too. Now, next up is going to be Balancer. Balancer is a little bit more of a higher cap crypto. This one's going to be a lot more of a safer pick. I think all of these so far are fairly safe picks. Curate, it's got a lot less of a market cap, so obviously there's more room for risk there. But I mean, at the end of the day, with these certain cryptos and us being in the late stages of the bull market, I think that most everything is going to pump. But the thing is which of these are actually going to be safe picks that are going to stay around throughout the cycles? And Balancer, in my opinion, is going to be one of those that has the potential of doing so. Now, I love this chart simply because what we see here is stacking one waves. We saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC back down. So this was a one wave. And then we saw the same thing right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it could even be 5 ABC like that. But this is just stacking one waves, right? So this was wave 1, and then this is wave 1 of 3. And so I actually think that what we're going to see is a massive parabolic move. This, to me, reminds me a little bit of Phantom to some extent, right before we saw Phantom take off in a big way. This move right here, this is what it reminds me of. So we can see one wave here, and then we see a one wave here. And then this is what happened shortly after. A massive, massive move to the upside, right? I honestly think that we could see the exact same thing play out here once again inside of Balancer. And it might not get as parabolic, you know, that was a massive move, but regardless, with us coming so close to the end of the year, I think that this is pretty much the same sort of consolidation, and that's why I think that regardless, we should see this thing at about $200 plus before the end of the year. That's my guess. I think we're going to see a massive breakout coming soon, and so this is one of those that's a solid DeFi pick. It's got a higher market cap, so that has a little bit more of a safety net in it, but with this being such an undervalued cycle, lots of good volume without any major impulses, I still think we're going to get a pretty big euphoric rise on the upside to close out the end of the year. So watch out for Balancer. Now, next up is actually one I talked about just recently, and from that video, we got another breakout. So I want to talk to you guys about this one once again, because in my last video, we were about right here, and then we got this massive breakout shortly after. Chances are my video kind of helped with that. But we have had a little bit of a pullback here. And so I actually think that this is a good opportunity to get back in for the people that missed out, for the people that actually want to add more to their positions. Because what we can see here, guys, this has been an area of strong demand. It was resistance over here. It was short-term support here. It became resistance again right there. And now we've actually broke above this level. And this just looks like your standard ABC correction after a breakout, right? And where that C leg is taking us is right back onto support of the previous resistance levels. And so, yeah, we could temporarily pierce a slight bit below this. I wouldn't be surprised if we did something like that. But I still think that this is going to be a good buy the dip opportunity. And it's a low cap crypto. I mean, if you buy this green line where we're at roughly today, and then you hold just to the previous resistance, that's almost 100% move. And I actually think we're going to be breaking up and going to at least 77 cents, which is like 2x. And chances are we're going to see this thing fly and go all the way up into potentially new all-time highs. It's hard to say exactly, but this type of accumulation pattern that we're seeing here, if we drop it to like a daily time frame, this is a lot of accumulation that's going on right here. Little pumps after accumulation, and we're actually seeing us flipping a resistance level. If this support holds, I expect this thing to get pretty parabolic quickly. And with it being such a low market cap coin, I figured it was a good opportunity to talk about this. So watch out for Genesis shards. Alrighty, guys, another one on today's list is actually going to be Radium. For you guys that don't know what Radium is a DEX for Solana. And you guys can actually use this currently. I've used it a few different times. Works pretty well. And with how hyped Solana's been getting, I think that this one's a great opportunity as well. Now, what I like about this chart is it's one of the better looking cup and handles out of the rest of the market, and I think that's pretty easy to tell. Now, you could draw this cup and handle from a bearish perspective or a bullish perspective, but I'm actually talking about the bullish case, obviously. And basically what it shows is this, and it's very symmetrical. This is kind of one of the things I talked to you guys about. This is how a cup and handle pattern should look. We have the top of the cup. Both peaks meet almost identical to that top resistance. We get a long-based bull, a lot of rounded accumulation. And then in the handle, we get this classic type handle where it sells off, it's accumulating sideways. You know, we had declining volume, declining price, but then with this most recent move right here, we saw a brand new breakout of volume, which is exactly what we want to see. Now, what's actually happening on these shorter time frames, and why I wanted to talk to you guys about this today, is this breakout is actually retesting the previous resistance levels as support. So this is actually a mini support and resistance flip. I expect continuation from here, ultimately to take us to the top of the cup as we make an attempt to actually break out right here and then go into price discovery. This is one that I'm very confident will do so. With Solana taking off like it has, we should expect to see the other cryptos being built under Solana or a part of that Solana ecosystem do the same. And this is one that is directly correlated to Solana because it's actually the DEX of Solana. So this is one that I think is going to be a great opportunity. This one's going to take off significantly. I have positions in it. I'm going to be holding as long as Solana is doing well. And so I think that you guys should be watching out for Radium as well. Now, next up is going to be one that's not looking like the greatest buy right now, but I think it will be providing a better entry soon. And this is actually Falcon 9. For you guys that don't know what Falcon 9 is literally the launch pad for Shiba Inu. And I'm pretty sure that this will be the official launch pad of Shiba Inu when actually it comes time to start launching cryptos off of it. And so with all the hype around Shiba, obviously, I was going to pick some of this up just because, you know, narratives. But this is one that actually has taken off quite well thus far. And what it looks like it's doing right now is after a strong impulse up, it looks like we're getting an ABC back down. This one looks like it's going to come back down to approximately 31 cents. And so I do think we have a little bit more downside still to come, but I do think it'll be a good opportunity to get back in. getting back in at the dip will pretty much erase the majority of this entire impulse, and it'll be retesting the previous all-time high. I don't think you can get a much better entry than that. With the narrative of Shiba being so strong, I think that all of the underlying ecosystem projects are going to do well. With Falcon 9 potentially being the official launch pad of Shiba, I think that that's a good opportunity, especially because if you accumulate a certain amount of these Falcon 9s, it's actually going to give you guys allocation inside of some of these launches that are going to take place in Shiba, which if they're meme coins, chances are they're going to pump really hard. You know, I think it's a good opportunity, so I'd be watching out for this one. I do believe we're going to go a little bit lower, so look to just buy this next dip, but this is one that I think has a strong narrative behind it, so I actually jumped in. So watch out for Falcon 9. Now next up is one that actually dropped from my my recent entry price, unfortunately, but it's all good. I bought pretty much like the top right here, and then it immediately sold off the next day. So obviously you wish you could have bought earlier, but when it comes to accumulating on a bigger picture, I'm also targeting new all-time highs, and I do believe this one's going to have a massive run on the upside. So it's all right if I'm short-term under the water, because I actually originally bought this all the way back down in here. I bought this at this green line. I made a quick like 15x off of this pump in about a month. I sold pretty close to the top, and so this was me actually rebuying the amount that I sold, right? I took some profits up at the top, and then I bought back the same amount that I originally had up here because I didn't really want to miss out on this one. From a fundamental perspective, this is one of my favorite cryptos, and, you know, from a fundamental perspective, I mainly just mean that because I looked on the website and it has a ton of partnerships with a lot of good cryptos. So when it comes for me analyzing fundamentals, that's kind of a big part of it. If I go to a website, it has a ton of really great partnerships with a lot of big names in crypto that have multi-billions in valuation already. That's when I'm interested. That's when I think that, hey, maybe there's something here. And that's exactly what I saw when I went to the Bifrost website. If you guys actually go look this up, they have a giant list of partnerships. And when I bought this, it was actually still a pretty fairly low market cap crypto. Now it's at the point where it's got a couple hundred, few hundred, I can't remember exact market cap, but it's got a few hundred million in market cap, which is still fairly undervalued in the bigger picture. And one of the reasons why I do like this is because we are pretty much retesting the previous all-time high. Now, it is possible that we go slightly lower to this green line, we get one more leg down. Or, you know, this could be a short-term fake out where we're at right now. We actually go back up. It's hard to say exactly which is going to take place. Shorter time frames are a lot harder to analyze. But what I can say is I'm in. I don't really care if it goes a little bit lower because, like I said, I accumulated the majority down here. But, I mean, that's not that big of a drop for me to worry so much about it because I'm very confident that wherever this bottom is, we're going to see a massive break from that. And this looks like a couple different wave counts. Either this is just 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to get one more 5 wave, or if this is a 1 wave and this is also a 1 wave. It's hard to say exactly. Generally, with these 3 waves, they're not going to come all the way back down and retest the previous support of wave 1. It happens, but it's not always going to happen. And generally speaking, I've seen it happen. I've seen it play out where it actually doesn't do that. So for us to be coming all the way back down, pretty much on top of wave 1, I think that it's a little bit less likely that this is 1, 2, 3, 4. But I will say that, you know, it's hard to say exactly, and so I think that it can go either way. With this being so close to the end of the year, I think it's more likely that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to get one more final 5 wave. But regardless, my bags are packed. I'm going to be selling at the same universal time frames that I've always talked to you guys about. So the Elliott wave count isn't the most important thing. I just like the chart. I think that it's got a great fundamental perspective. We should see multi-billions in valuation with this one. And so I think you guys should definitely check out Bifrost. Now, last up on today's list is going to be Lattice token. Lattice token is one that I got in a lot earlier from here, so just full disclosure. The last 2 that I've talked about, Bifrost and Lattice, the reason I've left those at the very end of the video isn't because I think that they're bad investments. It's just because I actually got into them a lot earlier than what I'm sharing with them, what I'm sharing to you guys right now. And so I just wanted to give you guys that little disclaimer. All the other ones I've bought, you know, fairly close to where we're at or right where we're at today. So I left these guys at the end of the list just to make sure that you guys were aware of that. I actually got into Lattice all the way back down here at 16 cents. So pretty much the very beginning of this move. But I still think that this is a really undervalued cycle because where we're at today, this entire move, the first impulse we saw was only a wave 1. And so what I think this entire most recent impulse is just wave 1 of 3. This one looks a lot kind of like Phantom does, how those different cryptos looked, where they made their first impulse, they made wave 1 of 3, and then they just went super parabolic. And as it stands today, we've pretty much just retested the previous high, right? That's kind of what we're doing right now. And that's why I think it's still a really good buy opportunity. You know, we did get a little ABC correction right onto the previous high. Exactly what you want to see on higher time frame breakouts. So this entire move in this wave 1 of 3 is just a bigger, higher time frame support and resistance flip. And so this is one that only has like 48 million in market cap. It's still really undervalued. It's a lot more undervalued than Bifrost is, but I did get in a lot earlier. And so with the 50 mil market cap project, you know, that's not very much at all. I've seen these things go up, you know, significantly higher, even from a couple hundred in market cap, a couple 100 million, that is. And so if it's a good project, if there's a lot of new money that comes into it at the same time, it doesn't necessarily matter how much market cap it has. It can just go up significantly. And Solana was a prime example. Solana was sitting at multiple billions and it still did so phenomenally well. And so this is one that's really undervalued. It's got a couple of good partnerships on their website. With us retesting the previous all-time high in this next move, I just personally think that this is going to be one that actually takes off pretty fast, because what comes next is wave 3 of 3, which is going to get very parabolic. So anyways, guys, this is the list of cryptos I had for you today. These are cryptos that I think are going to be pretty solid bets to close out the end of the year. There's not so many risky picks inside of this. I kind of did my own due diligence to kind of sort through that. I think that these are going to do phenomenally well. These are going to be great investments in the short term. I hold every single one of these, full disclosure. Some of them I got in a little bit earlier, like Lattice and Bifrost, but the rest of these, you know, I've pretty much got in right around where we're at today. And so I think that these are all solid picks. Wanted to give you guys this little update as a way to share some insight on different cryptos. Maybe you guys have heard of these, maybe you guys haven't, but regardless, these are some that I'm personally watching for and will be holding to close out the end of the year. If you guys found value in this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos. If you guys would like to get more information, more insider access, download my free ebook, all of that fun stuff, links are going to be provided for you in the description. Go ahead and join my Discord or download my free ebook. If you guys want to actually get into my VIP group, see all those trades that I'm taking, which cryptos I'm buying, which cryptos I'm selling, and then once again, how I'm actually going to be strategically selling out of my investments at the end of the year. And then finally, how I'm going to re-diversify that profit into new markets like stocks, like commodities, things like that. If you guys want all that access for a lifetime package, as long as you guys are inside the VIP, as long as I'm running this channel, you guys are going to have lifetime access to all of that. Links are going to be provided for you in the description for the people that do want to go check that out on my website. Thank you all so much for watching. And with that being said, I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.